Welcome in everyone to another episode of the Cover 2 podcast. I'm your host, Lawson Turner, as always, and we got a big night tonight in the NFL. Around 8 Eastern, the NFL Honors start on CBS and the NFL Network, and you can stream it on your phone or tablet or whatever mobile device you have on NFL Plus. So, it's a big night. It's a big night. We find out who wins all these giant awards, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, where our rookies really shine in, a lot of, not a lot of, a handful, I should say, of notable rookies get their oohs and ahs, and this is all about who lit it up this year. And it's also room for discussion as to who should and who will win these, where I'm going to go through the candidates and I'm going to give my opinions, thoughts, and predictions on who I think is going to win tonight. At the time of recording, it starts in about 2.5 hours, so let's get right into it. We're going to start Assistant Coach of the Year. Out of all of the assistant coaches out there, these 5 made the last cut. We have Ben Johnson, Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. Mike McDonald, last year, Ravens defensive coordinator, he's now the head coach in Seattle, which will do another thing on every individual team at a later date and time. Todd Monken, Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. Jim Schwartz, Cleveland defensive coordinator. And Bobby Slowick, who is the Houston Texans offensive coordinator. Out of all these candidates, I think Ben Johnson has to be might be a stretch. I think that all these candidates are great. I think they all did an outstanding job for their specific teams, for the things that they were asked to do on the offense or defensive side. I think Ben Johnson was a slam dunk, and no wonder there was, talks of him being interviewed for head coaching jobs for multiple vacancies this offseason, and I thought him to the Commanders was a slam dunk, but he went back to Detroit, and I'm excited for what he has to do next year. I think if it's not Ben Johnson, I think what Todd Monken did with Lamar was awesome. And we're going to get into Lamar later because he's up for 2 awards tonight. So if it's not Ben Johnson, I could see Todd Monken making a very strong push and a very strong case. But that Lions offense was explosive and an awesome. They were just an awesome unit all year long. Coach of the Year, we have Dan Campbell of the Lions, John Harbaugh of the Ravens, DeMeco Ryans of the Texans, Kyle Shanahan of the Niners, and Kevin Stefanski for the Cleveland Browns. All did outstanding jobs with their teams. All of them. When everyone last offseason was like, oh, watch out for the Lions because they finished the year hot the year before, everyone was like, oh, this is the sleeper team. I was skeptical because I thought you could only go so far with Jared Goff, and little did I know, you can go all the way to the NFC Championship game with Jared Goff. We'd seen him in a Super Bowl, but I did not know his supporting cast would explode like they did. Their entire draft class was awesome, especially their 2 rookies on the offensive end, in Laporta and Gibbs, who we'll get into later because both of those are up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. It's tough because I can see, for the majority of these awards, I can see 2-3 of the 5 getting the nod and getting the award. But like Dan Campbell did an awesome job. Harbaugh's team was good and his coordinators were awesome. DeMeco, do we think DeMeco Ryans is that good? Because I think they were the shock to me. I thought the Houston were going to be bad. Because whenever you draft a quarterback in the top 3, top 5, you kind of go through like a rough patch year, You go through a year in which, okay, is he the guy? Does our quarterback show flashes? Do we need to surround him? Does he show flashes of potentially being a top 5 guy? CJ Stroud did that. And mentioning C.J. Stroud, it's funny because a lot of these coordinators and head coaches, they have players that are finalists for all these other awards. So I think the Texans I think they were the standout surprise team, and I think D'Amico did an awesome job. And so as it stands right now, I think D'Amico will probably get the nod over Dan Campbell. But if Dan wins it, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not even gonna be surprised. I'm not going to, you know. Um, Stefanski is my sleeper pick for that, but it's due to his quarterback situations being awful for most of the year. Deshaun this year did not live up to his contract. Then he got hurt, and then they went to DTR for a couple games, and then they ended the year with with Joe Flacco, and a lot of people had them favored in the first round of the Texans, but CJ Stroud said it doesn't matter how good your defense is. I'm that guy. Let's transition into defensive rookie of the year. We have Jalen Carter of the Eagles, Kobe Turner of the Rams, Devon Witherspoon of the Seahawks, Will Anderson Jr. of the Texans, and then Joey Porter Jr. I would love to come out here and say, without biasness, it's Joey Porter. But Jalen Carter, a lot of these awards, they're not stat driven, they're play driven. And all of these rookies had really good years. They had really good seasons. Like Joey Porter Jr., he wasn't getting playing time due to all the reports of he couldn't tackle in practice. But when he got his playing time and when he earned his starting cornerback spot, he showed that there's no reason why Joey Porter at the end of next year could not be knocking on the door of a top 13 cornerback in the NFL. There's no reason. He has the size, the length, the ball skills, the speed. There's no reason to think that he can't be that. But Jalen Carter was just out of this world for an Eagles defense that was like their pass defense was awful, but their interior they were lights out the whole year. And did he benefit from veteran leadership like Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and a lot of those other big-time defensive linemen that they have? Absolutely. And I think they rose his game. Like he was already, he's already projected to go very high in the draft last year. And then when he fell to the Eagles, I was like, oh damn, they got another superstar talent on the line. And I think he's going to win the award tonight. Sleeper pick? It's tough. It's tough because like my fanhood in me is so like Joey Porter's my sleeper pick. Joey Porter should be my pick, but he was awesome, but I think Jalen Carter was just better. My sleeper pick would probably be Will Anderson because we see these D linemen and pass rushers. We see them; they control the game. If you control the line of scrimmage, you control the game. And that's why I think for DBs, unless you have like an outstanding year like Stephon Gilmore did a couple years ago when he won Defensive Player of the Year, or Deron Bland, who we'll get into later, has an outstanding case for Defensive Player of the Year. But I think Jalen Carter is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. And my sleeper pick will probably be like a Will Anderson. Once again, these are not super stats driven. These are play driven. As we'll get into next, Offensive Player of the Year, which can be stat driven. They all, you know what? Let's wait for Offensive Player. Let's do Offensive Rookies since we just did rookies. We have Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions. Sam Laporta, Detroit Lions. Bijan Robinson, Atlanta Falcons. CJ Stroud, Houston Texans. Like, these, and Puka Nacua of the Rams. I know I was missing one. These, it has to be Stroud, but my mind will not let me get over the fact that Puka broke 2 rookie records. He broke the rookie receiving yards and receptions. It that just doesn't stick in my mind that he broke 2 records and is not going to win the award. C.J. Stroud was by far the best rookie. I thought he played the best out of all these guys. Now, all these guys are going to have, barring injuries, great NFL careers. Gibbs and Laporta will be the franchise guys in Detroit for a long time. You have Bijan, who's just give him the ball and watch. Just give him the ball, hand it to him, pass it to him, block, and watch him dance. But with that being said, this award belongs to C.J. Stroud. And Puka, if you want to call it my sleeper pick, if it's not Stroud, I think it should be Puka because, like I said, he broke 2 rookie records. And in the history of the NFL, breaking records, it's like, wow. Like, when we go in the record books, we're going to see Puka Nacua, rookie receptions and rookie receiving yards record. Like, that's something that it's awesome. And he was great for the Rams. Like, he came out and was just, he hit the floor running and sprinting. So if it's not Stroud, I think Puka should win this award. Let's go to Offensive Player of the Year now. This is tough. Because we have Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Christian McCaffrey. All these guys have great. All these guys have their hand on the award. They're pulling out the trophy in five different directions. I think Dak and Lamb. This is just how I see it. Dak and Lamb are gonna cancel each other out because Lamb had outstanding stats, broke the Cowboys team record for receiving yards in a season. But it's hard for receivers to win awards unless it's rookie of the year, because your stats your stats go 2 ways. Like Dak's stats are good because of CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb's stats are good because of Dak. Like, they go hand in hand, so I think they're gonna cancel each other out per se. Tyreek Hill was on pace for 2,000 for the majority of the season, and then he got hurt in the Titans game, which, if he would have gone over 2K, I would have said give him the award hands down. And Lamar, I'll get into my Lamar thing at the end because he's up for the MVP, and I'm not going to jump the gun on there. I think this is a lot simpler than it has. It's being harder than it has to be. Just hand it to Christian McCaffrey. Just give it to him. Him and Raheem Mostert were tied for touchdowns this year, total touchdowns from scrimmage. But just give him the award. It's not hard. He has the rushing yards. He was the best running back in the NFL last year. Now, does he benefit from the system he's in? Absolutely. Absolutely he does. We know what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. He wants to run the ball and give it to his best players. And Christian McCaffrey was the best player on the Niners offense last year. And it was like a Bijan thing. Give him the ball and watch him work. And this year, I didn't know if he would play every game. And he dominated in every game. Win or loss, he was dominating outside of the Cleveland game. But even then, Cleveland had a top 5 defense last year. So I like CMC to win the award. If it's not, Tyreek Hill will get a strong argument. That's my two. CMC and Tyreek. That's it. I don't need to really say much more than that. Defensive Player of the Year. This is where I'm gonna try and take fanhood out of the equation for this. We have Deron Bland of the Cowboys, single season single season record holder for pick sixes in a season. Wait, 8. That's outlandish. That's awesome. I can't fathom that. Like his now, it was like Trevon Diggs of the year before, where he was it was almost as if Trevon Diggs was getting an interception a week because he played hyper aggressive, which we love that for DBs. But it also comes at a price because we saw the Seattle game where he tried to jump a DK slant and or post just to end breaking route, and DK slammed us out on the goalpost. Like, there's a lot of things here that are good and bad, but enough of Deron Bland. Let's get to the other, finalists. Max Crosby, of the Raiders, awesome. Myles Garrett, awesome. Micah Parsons, awesome. And then TJ Watt. If it's not TJ Watt, I might lose my mind. Like, led the league in sacks again. Led the league in pressures again. Like, I don't know what if Myles Garrett wins this award, I might lose my mind. If Myles Garrett wins this award, I might lose my mind. Because I don't care what his pass rush win rate is. Do you or do you not get to the quarterback? And as an edge rusher and a defensive end, even though like T.J. Watt plays the outside linebacker, Myles Garrett plays the end. He's more of a traditional defensive lineman, where we'll see T.J. drop into coverage and get interceptions as he has in the past, or like 2 years ago, in the game he tore his pec against the Bengals in the first game of last year, he'll just jump up at the line and get it and get picks. Like, Myles Garrett's your betting favorite, which it amazes me. Like I said, T.J. Watt led the league in sacks, pressures, still has more touchdowns than Myles Garrett this year. Has more interceptions by 1. Both of those interceptions and touchdowns by 1. Like, there's a lot. Like, you can't tell me that you can't give me any situation or any scenario in which Myles Garrett's better. You just can't. It baffles me, honestly, and it gets on my nerves when I open up Twitter and I see Myles Garrett versus T.J. Watt comparisons, and people lean Myles Garrett. I don't know. Am I biased? Probably. But stats don't lie. Stats don't lie. Your eye test will lie to you. Your eye test will say, oh, he's better than this. He's better than him. He has more flash and wow. But numbers don't lie. And T.J. Watt has been better than Myles Garrett not only this year, but damn near every year he's been healthy. It's T.J. Watt for me. So sleeper, I doubt he'd win it, but Max Crosby had a hell of a year, and I don't want to let the Raiders' lack of success sweep him under the rug. He was awesome and played damn near every snap for a Raiders team that was going through hella turmoil and questions at head coach and question marks on where this team's going to go. Like, what's our direction? The constant was Max Crosby. He is a game wrecker. A lot like a lot of these guys on the list. So if it's not Watt, it'll probably be Garrett. I won't be surprised if Max Crosby ends up second because he was outstanding. Now, for the Big Boy Award, the most valuable player. Who was the best player this year in the NFL? It it, it feels like a weird season for most of it. The season it just felt like all these teams that we thought were going to be just world beaters and just dominating everyone, they weren't. Like we don't see Mahomes as a finalist this year. Why? Because the Chiefs won what 11 games. Like their team just wasn't a world beater this year, and it's okay because they're still in the Super Bowl because you have the best player in the world, and if in 4 or 5 years you want to make an argument he's the GOAT, yeah. If you want to make an argument after or if he wins this Super Bowl, I'm open to the discussion. But Mahomes' GOAT case is for it's for a later time and date. Your finalists: Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, surprised, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, and Christian McCaffrey. Now, I think it's great that Christian became a finalist, but I don't see a non-quarterback winning this award. We haven't seen it since Adrian Peterson won it 12 years ago. Uh, I, the Josh Allen thing surprised me that he was a finalist because there were so many stretches where he was just bad. He is the up and down and up and down, and he'll play like he is the boom or bust quarterback. His high is, oh my God, he's second best quarterback in the world to Mahomes. And then his work, and we've seen his worst. We're like, dude, how are you the guy? Because he's the guy, and he will be the guy in Buffalo for until he hangs it up. But it amazes me, and whenever I turn, here I'm looking at, myself from my reaction and things like that. But it's like it just amazes me, cause it's like, what are we doing? If Josh Allen wins this award, which I don't think it will, I think it'll be Lamar Jackson, because this year, the reason why I brought up the NFL it just felt weird this year. The reason why it felt weird is because no one has gaudy stats. Like, no one has stats that makes all of us drool and go gaga over it. No, no one does. This year was who played the best, and Lamar will win this award. This is the only award that, I slam dunk. If there's no if, Lamar's going to win this award. He led the Ravens to another 1 seed. And remember, this is a regular season award. All these awards are for the regular season. Take playoffs aside, Lamar was the best player in the NFL this year. Offense, defense. If you wanted to win highly in the regular season this past year, you have Lamar Jackson. And the Ravens played into his strengths, and he made a lot of big strides with his arm. He's continuing to impress me every single year with his arm. We've seen him make leap after leap after leap after leap. The only thing that's missing from him is playoff success. But this is not a playoff. This is not a playoff-based award. It's regular season. In the regular season, Lamar Jackson was the best player in the NFL. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions below. As always, I'm going to know who you guys think should win or who you guys want to see win. I'll be posting a reaction video tomorrow on everyone who won. And that's when I'll see you guys next. And I'll talk to you guys later.